Ladies and gentlemen, this is Information Man. We're doing a live show tonight on Facebook. Live, and we're going to be doing a show live on YouTube. So what I want to do right now is let everybody know out there listening in YouTube, everybody out there listening in speaker.com. I want to welcome everybody out there. I really
and lions, welcome to truth, power.
So I'm going to stop that there. I want to let everybody know that we're doing a analysis tonight, a big time analysis of Black Panther. A lot of folks out there have already seen the movie since it's opened up just about a week ago. Myself and Lions Den, we had a chance to check out the movie in our respective areas that we live. He lives in Washington, D.C. I live out here in the California area. And what we want to do is give, as the title says, Black Panther, an analysis and politics. Because there was a lot of politics in that movie. There was a lot to give a critical analysis to. Now, I'm going to bring, and Lions Den will bring his perspective. I'm going to bring a few different perspectives. One, I'm an old school comic book fan. Now, a lot of people who went to go see this movie, they didn't know nothing about no Black Panther, unless you were a comic book fan, you grew up with the comic book, you were familiar. But for some of our kids today, even the millennial generation, the older generation, some were familiar with the Black Panther character from Marvel Comics, and some were not. And some, and some people simply, went to see this movie for the fact that it was a black superhero being introduced to us, and for the first time. And so it was a way to get a little taste of what it felt like as a black person in America to have a character that represents us, that reflects our values, in some cases, maybe not. We grew up looking at Superman, Batman, and Robin. And for the most part, these characters pretty much spoke to white Americans, white folks. These characters don't really project who we are as a people. And so here comes Black Panther to the forefront. One of the things that I want to do is let everybody know that when I went to go see this movie, I had some high expectations because of the fact that it was really hyped up as being, a really incredible event. And to be honest with you, Lions Den, when I looked at the movie and came away from watching the movie, overall, and people are probably going to be mad at me, or people are probably going to disagree with me or agree with me. Overall, in terms of a movie, as a superhero movie, I did not particularly like it in terms of it being in terms of the whole superhero thing. I thought that there were some things that were sort of flat. That's the bell for my man Lions Den coming in. So I thought there were some aspects of the movie that was flat. And what I mean by that is that the action wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be. So when I give this critical analysis, it's going to be more so on the concept of the movie in terms of it being a movie setting place in a fictional world, a fictional society in Africa, and the African values that are in the movie, some of the concepts that are very African. That's what I really want to focus on. Lions Den will give his, of course, analysis, but I'm going to touch on the African philosophies in the movies in the movie that really, to me, stuck out the most, more so than just it being a superhero movie. I'm going to get into the caricature. You had the character by Michael B. Jordan, who played the character Killmonger. I want to get into that because Killmonger represents what we would call African American people, black people in America. And Black Panther, as a character, I felt was sort of compromising. I kind of felt myself wishing he had the same sort of attitude and strength of the character played by Killmonger. So we're going to get into the analysis. I'm going to try to break down from my perspective. Lions Den will break down from his perspective what this movie was all about. We had a little bit of boo-boo in the middle of the show, in the beginning of the show with the music. And so I'm going to fire that up, our introduction up one more time. And then with that said, I'm going to go over to Lions Den, who's from Washington, D.C., get his opinions about the movie. I'm going to go deeper into the movie from my opinions. We want to get into the metaphysics of the movie. We want to get into the African culture, the African proverbs of the movie, the meaning. Because I'm not looking at this movie personally from a standpoint of a comic book fan. And now if I'm looking at it with that hat, then I have to say that it wasn't what I was expecting in terms of a superhero movie. But in terms of what it means for black children, the imagery, sort of the fact that you have this African country uninterrupted by white folks, but then they bring in this CIA agent. Had a big problem with that. So we're going to go deeper. And with that said, let me begin and fire up our introduction to our show because things went a little boo-boo in the beginning. And then I'm going to take it over to my man Lions Den.
Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking the truth to power. Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth to power. Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth to power. Truth. Myself. Information. And lions. Welcome. Truth. Power.
This is Information Man and Lions Den. Welcome.
With that said, Lions Den, welcome everybody. Thank you for listening again. Lions Den, I'm going to come to you now, brother. I kind of ran off there. What are your opinions about the movie? What is your, I would say, analysis of what you witnessed when you went to see Black Panther today in Washington, D.C. area?
Thank you guys for, basically for allowing me, to talk about the movie. What I get through it is that, I see, when I first saw the movie, I basically stunned actually, because I saw a lot of things that really, affected my head. For example, you see a lot of beautiful black sisters as Black Panther, his character's name is T'Challa. T'Challa has female bodyguards. We never seen that before. We never seen a lot of, a black leader that has black female bodyguards protecting them 24/7, which is a kind of cool thing. And another thing is that we also see his sister that knows technology. She's only 16. There's also a cool thing that happened. One thing I don't like, however, about the movie, like you, Info, is the CIA agent that wants to get involved with helping T'Challa and with, of course, Black Panther, fighting against Killmonger. That's one thing I did not like about the movie is the CIA involvement of it. But other than that info, I like the movie. I think I like how it projected as, you know, African people when it comes to, you know, like I said, female bodyguards. The mother who plays, basically, I like, let's see, also Angela Bassett, the actress. I like her as T'Challa's mother, which is also a cool thing. But other than that, everything I love about the movie. But like I said, you and I both agree. I did not like the CIA agent who wants to get involved and helping against Killmonger. But other than that, 100% 2 thumbs up. I like it. It was awesome.
Okay. Lions Den, you made some very good points, brother. But let me bring something to your attention. This is why I want to get into this movie a little bit deeper, not so much spend so much time on the superhero part of it. What you saw in the movie with black women or African women being soldiers is nothing new. If you look and do your research out there, folks, there were tribes, there were women who were warriors, okay? Who were warriors. There were what you would call Amazon black women in Africa, different tribes that would fight. So what they put in that movie was not fictional. A lot of folks will go to this movie and they will get caught up in thinking that a lot of it was fictional because it's a superhero movie. That's why I don't want to spend a lot of time on the superhero part of it, because that part of it I felt was kind of lacking, in my opinion, because
right.
Because I just thought that the Black Panther character, I just thought he was sort of watered down. You never saw him. I'll give you a perfect example why I thought he was watered down. Who's the character? Because you studied up on it pretty well. Who's the character who had the arm, who was shooting with the arm? Who's that character? Let everybody know who that character. Remind everybody, because I'm sure there's folks out there who've already seen this movie.
Okay. The guy that has the character, the one you was talking about, his name is Claw.
Claw.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
that's what he called himself.
Okay. Now,
he's from the South. He's a South African.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Claw is from South Africa. He's a legitimate character from the world of Black Panther. One of the things I didn't like is that when Black Panther, I guess they went to China somewhere and they found him there, and he was, that scene where he was when he was on the car chasing after Claw. I didn't really like the fact that Claw, when he got his hands on Claw, he had a chance to take this man out, and you had the beautiful sisters in the movie, beautiful chocolate sisters, I must say, beautiful chocolate sisters. Okay. And one of the things I like in the movie is that those sisters didn't have no weave in their head. All right, they didn't have that weave cap on their head, because they just was natural. Everything about the folks in this movie was natural. Loved it. That's really who we are. We're not really this perm and fried and dyed and laid back to the side hair. That's European. Kunks in our hair and all that, from the past. That's European. I like the fact that a lot of what you saw in the movie was not very European. Loved it. But what I want to say here is that when he had a chance to take this man weave free. Thank you, James Harrison. Weave free. Love it. So when he had a chance to take Claude out, he didn't. And the two beautiful sisters that was with him said, "Don't do it because the world is watching you." I had a serious problem with that, because this man, Claude, had been a nemesis for over 30 years. They said it in the movie. They had been trying to catch him for over 30 years. He's killed people. He got himself into Wakanda and did damage and pillage there. And when he had a chance to take him out, and when I was in the theater, I said he made a big mistake. He should have took that out. And I had a problem with that. Because I felt that was sort of watered down. When you look at most superhero movies, when the superhero gets their hands on the villain, they do damage to them. So I felt Stan Lee and Marvel, or whoever, I know it was a brother who directed the movie, but I think that they watered his character down. Because if you know anything about Black Panther from the comic books, he wasn't watered down. He whooped some ass, and he took names and he whooped ass. And I think in this movie, Black Panther's character, he was sort of weak, man. He damn near got his ass kicked the first time when he became the Black Panther. Then you had my man what's my man's name from Michael, brother who played Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger. Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. When Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger, when he had his chance, he took Clyde out. Okay? Boom. That's the done deal. He did what, in my mind, Black Panther should have done. And then when he had a fight with him, he had a second fight where he fought Killmonger's character. He got his butt whipped. So they sort of weakened him. In my opinion, they sort of, Obamanized him. Now, what do I mean? They sort of Barack Obamanized him, made him too diplomatic, too much of this. When they go low, we go high. And you know how I feel about that, Lions Den. I don't really buy into the whole when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, you tear them up. Okay? That's my opinion. So I didn't really like, well, wow, man. He's supposed to be the superhero, man. Let him kick a little behind. And so they kind of watered that down. I had some problems with that. But that's the superhero part of the movie that I did not like. But when you get past all of that,
right,
and you look at some of the traditions of the movie, the African traditions. Now, in the movie, you saw him go through different phases where he got his powers taken from him. He got his powers given back to him during the scene where they had him drink from this flower that they broke down into a liquid. Okay, now just like I told you, Lions, and everybody out there listening in YouTube, Facebook, and on speaker.com, everything about that was very, very African, very, very ancient. And I'm going to tell you why. Like I said, there were women that were soldiers, that were warriors in Africa that protected kings. So that part of the movie was not fictional, baby. Do your research, and you will find tribes where one of the things that blew me away was that scene where he drunk the flower liquid to get his powers. If you go back into ancient Kemet, okay, which was before Egypt, and Kemet was created by the Kush. I want to repeat that. The Kushites came before Kemet, but Kemet was a powerful nation, powerful world. The people in Kemet would take a flower, a blue locust flower. They would crush it up into a liquid form, just like in that movie, to do what? You ever heard of the pineal gland? The pineal gland, which is in the middle of your head, which is the third eye. They took the blue locust flower, broke it down, and they would drink that because they believe that the blue locust flower would empower the third eye, which was the pineal gland. We all have the pineal gland. The pineal gland, it interacts with the melanin in your body. The pineal gland is what gives you the ability to dream, the ability to think outside of the box of your consciousness, okay? Think out. You got the mind and the body. Now, people think that the Greeks came up with the whole philosophy behind the mind and the body. No, they stole that from Kemet. They stole that from the Africans, okay? The Africans knew that the mind and the body, the spirit, were all one. So what you saw in that movie where he took the drink to get his powers, they were doing that stuff in Africa and many different tribes for energy, for power. The brothers, the Nubians in Kemet were doing that. They were drinking the blue locust flowers, right? To energize that pineal gland, the third eye. And the third eye is about going to it. The third eye is supposed to allow you to think out of the box, to have, you ever heard, Europeans call it the sixth sense. I don't use the term sixth sense. I say seventh sense. Because 7 is a perfect number. It's a biblical number. So I don't say 6 sense. That's negative. I go with 7 sense. So the pineal gland giving you that ability to dream, giving you that ability to have an intuition. Like Lion's Den, have you ever gone somewhere where you feel like, hey, I don't feel comfortable here. Something's not right about where I'm at. I got to get out of here. Have you ever had that feeling, brother?
Yeah, of course. Sometime I do. Yeah.
All right, brother. Speak up, brother, when I bring it over to you. We gotta be right on the money with this. But that's your melanin working in your body, that energy in your body, because melanin is like a photosynthesis plant. It takes in positive energy, melanin takes in negative energy. So when you start having these intuitions that people want to call sixth sense, I call it seventh sense. I just call it the melanin in your body sensing things around you, the energies around you, which are negative or positive. When you get into an environment that is negative, that's your melanin reading that, all right? And making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel like I got to get out of this environment, okay? Now, in the movie, they had a substance that they were mining. What was that substance, Lion's Den?
In the movie, it's talking about the mining of the substance.
Yes.
Basically deals with the it basically deals with the brain.
Yes. But what was the name of the substance in the movie?
Oh, that right there. Let's see here. Let's see. You talking about the liquid part or
the stuff that what they were mining. The stuff that the suit, like Black Panther's suit, was made out of it. The animals were affected by it.
Yeah, it's like a liquid. It's like a liquid part of the suit, right?
No, it's what they were mining. The uranium that they were mining. The stuff that they were mining, that's what gave them the power, or their technology. That was in the stuff that they were mining. Remember, they had remember in the beginning of the movie, they talked about a meteor crashing into their particular land, and the meteor affected everything in the range of their land, and from that substance, they were able to create their technology, the ships. Okay. Do your research.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Everybody out there listening in the chat room, what was the name of that? This is a teaching moment. Let me read something here that somebody wrote. James Harris, they should make Black Panther pro-black. This fighting rivalry from tribes in the mountains is enemy. He got whipped the first time he fought him for the control of the kingdom and power. Well, yeah. So in the movie, you had the substance. For those of you who've seen the movie, you had the substance that they were using to power their society. Okay? So what do you have in Africa? You have gold, you have silver, you have diamonds, you have coltan, which is used in all of our technologies in America. Okay? You had the fictional substance in the movie, which they were using to power their technology. And I'm here to tell you that what you saw in the movie wasn't far-fetched, because Africa has things in the earth. There are substances, there are objects that are in the earth of that continent that are not of this earth. Just like in the movie, meteors that have come down crashing. I'm looking for someone out there in the chat room to name the substance that was in the movie that their society was created by. That's what I'm looking for. Anybody in the chat wants to throw their head into that, write it in the chat room, in the Facebook chat room. So what I'm trying to say, Lions Den, is that technology that we live off in America and all over the world globally, our technology in this country we call America has been powered by minerals, by natural resources that come out of the earth of what we call the continent of Africa. And without these substances, such as coltan, which is used in our cell phones, which is used in our computers, even in our cars, because a lot of our cars today have computer. Thank you. Vibranium. That's right. Thank you. Vibranium, Lions Den. I specifically wanted someone to state what it was. I specifically wanted this answer. Vibranium. Let's turn it upside down. Vibranium isn't nothing but what? Coltan, diamonds, oil, gold, whatever, all the riches that come out of Africa. So vibranium was sort of the metaphor technology that empowered their civilization to create flying objects like they were something out of another planet. And what I'm telling you is that technology was in Africa, like what you saw in that movie, but it was stolen. Like the book, go out and get the book Stolen Legacies. Talks about how the Greeks and the Romans went into Egypt, or what we call Kemet, the land of the black. They stole technology, they stole idea, they stole their philosophy as we know it from Kemet, okay? And they pillaged, destroyed, did mockery of the civilization, which is why you have the nose of the Sphinx shot off by that despicable European he was a narcissistic individual that we call Napoleon. So vibranium was the energy force that came out of their land, which they used to empower themselves and create technology that the world hadn't seen. And what I'm telling you folks tonight, and the analysis that we're coming up to, is that technology, and everybody knows this, was stolen, and which is it's the technology that we're using in America. So when you pick up your cell phone, and you can use that cell phone, our internet, our cars, our computers, our natural resources in this country that powers us, it's all been stolen from the continent of Africa. Even what we call the Middle East, which really isn't the Middle East, okay? The Middle East at one point in time was part of the African diaspora, or is part of the African diaspora, okay? Because African people have been all over the world. You have the latest news of the Chatterman. They found the Chatterman's body in Europe. They were able to date back that the Chatterman was there before. They're finding bones in Egypt, in Israel, where they're recognizing that their black people were in Israel before Israel was there, okay? And we know that the original Jews were not the European Jews that you see in Israel today. They were the African people from East Africa. They are the original Jews, and they don't teach you that in school, but I'm going to break it down to you. So everywhere in this world, when they do digging, they find a black person was okay? And all this technology that we have in our society today and throughout the world is because of what they've been doing to Africa, destroying Africa, ripping of its resources. And right now, the United States have a program called African, okay? And African is nothing but a front so that they can maintain their foothold and control of the continent of Africa, which is why we had World War I because World War I was about who was going to control Africa and its natural resources. Once again, stealing. And my argument is that had the people of Africa, in the different countries of Africa, because it's a continent, were able to control their own resources, control their own technology that's in the earth, that could you imagine? I imagine that you could see cities in Africa like you saw in the movie Wakanda. You could see a Wakanda today had they been able to control their own resources, okay, and it not be stolen by the Europeans. And along the way, you had your traders too. You had black folks that were traders. And so what you were looking at in that movie, in a lot of ways, were possibilities of what the future could have been for Africa had it not been the underdeveloped, ripped off, mistreated with colonialism. Okay? What you have in that movie is the possibilities that we could be independent of non-melanated people. I'm going to go on and on with some more, but Lions Den, tell me what's your perspective about the movie so far?
Well, the movie so far that really got me that got me interested is T'Challa's sister,
Okay.
a 16-year-old sister. She's sort of like what's that billionaire? Oh God, she's sort of like a big. She knows her technology, and she's only 16 years old. During the movie, she's teaching Black Panther all the weapons to use and all the technologies to use those weapons. And that's what's inspired me. And she's only 16 years old. The mother who plays Angela Bassett, who's the mother of T'Challa and Shakuri, that's her name, Shakuri, and she's like the mother god of Wakanda, and she is very brilliant, and she's also like warned, Black Panther, warning, Shakuri the dangers of for example, warn the dangers of Killmonger, how he is, and basically, when Killmonger, and this is what disappointed me on that part too, which I agree on, is when T'Challa got defeated by Killmonger, and then he's straight up T'Challa beating Killmonger's butt, but at the end of the day, it's T'Challa did what he did. But my point is that in this movie, you learn that a 16-year-old girl who has a genius of technology is what inspires me the most. Because most 16-year-old girls who has that knowledge knows about technology, knows about weapons and stuff like that. So, Info, your thoughts?
Well, I got a different take on it, brother. I like to say that, yes, I thought that it was brilliant. I think kids going to see this movie with their family, I think it's positive to see images of young. I told you some old Lions Den that I'm not impressed with saying anything. I don't care about those creative, because black people, we've always excelled in the areas of entertainment because those were the areas that they would only allow us to excel in, okay? So I'm more interested in black people or young black people that are like the young lady in the movie who are into the science, technology, okay, medicine. That's where it's at, man. That's where it's at, because we got enough Negroes buck dancing and shaking their butt and twisting around the floor. I get sick of that, okay? And that's what I liked about that part of this movie, is that you had the technology, you had the brilliance of the young lady that was Black Panther's sister. She was very brilliant, but one of the problems that I have, though, with part of this movie, and I know it's a superhero movie, so you're going to have violence, you're going to have weapons, but that's why I'm not going to look at it from a superhero point of view. One of the problems that I have is that that creating technology that can hurt people. And I really wish they were focusing on how they could better other neighboring countries. Meaning, if you got this technology where you can heal people, you can fortify yourself, then why allow other African countries, your neighbors, why allow them to suffer when you sitting on this technology in Africa, of all places, Africa being colonized as it was, and you could have used that power to help your people, all people. And I know that in historically in Africa, you have these what you call tribal traditions. I'm this tribe, you're that tribe, and you just worry about your own tribe. But one of the things in that movie that they got wrong is that in African culture is not Eurocentric culture, okay? And that was one of the problems I had with Black Panther, is that the fact that as the citizens and the country, Wakanda, they wanted to separate themselves from the rest of Africa itself. I didn't really have a problem with them separating themselves from Europeans, from America and Europe, because first of all, I don't think we have any business giving America or Europeans our technology. And if this was real, meaning we know it was a fictional world, but if it was real, if I was king of Wakanda, I would never in 100 years give any of my technology to Europeans, because Europeans have shown throughout centuries that once you give them technology, they're going to create destruction. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. What comes out of the earth that they use to produce nuclear missiles? Lion's Den. What comes out of the earth that they use to produce?
Uranium.
What is it called again? What is it
Uranium.
called again?
Uranium.
Uranium. All right. This is the learning situation. Uranium comes out of the ground. You can find that in what we call the Middle East, which is nothing but really another part of the black diaspora, the African diaspora. They got it in Africa as well. So Europeans took this substance, another technological substance that's in the earth, okay? They took that substance and they did what with it? They turned it into a destructive, they took the power of God, which is in the earth, and they turned it into a destructive force to do what? Create nuclear bombs to kill what? People. Look at what they did to Japan during the World War II. They dropped a bomb on Japan. The United States is the only country in the world, in the civilized world, which I don't think is very civilized. The United States is the only country in the so-called civilized world to ever drop a nuclear bomb. And to make a nuclear bomb, and someone said that to make a nuclear bomb, but to drop a nuclear explosion on someone. They did it to the people in Hiroshima in Japan. Okay? Now that's a fact. That's documented. Go look it up, folks. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. And yet, in the United States, we spend a lot of time talking about other people putting bombs on us, but yet we're the only country to put a bomb on someone. This is the only country. I'm not going to say we, because we, Mr. Information Man here, I ain't produced no bombs. Black folks have no power in this country, so we didn't produce any destructive. We have our tribal warfare, but we don't create nuclear missiles that can blow up the whole damn world. Europeans have done that. Europeans, everywhere they've gone in the world, they have left tragedy. They have done destruction. Everywhere. Look at your history. Every time they've come in contact with someone, they destroy it. You had the Aztecs and the Incas and the native people here in a place that we call North America. They were minding their own business, living their own life, living off the land, living in harmony with nature, just like the native people. I don't call them Native Americans because the native people that were here were not Americans, because it was Europeans that called this America. So why would we want to identify with those slavers? Just like most black folks in America, we're walking around with these slave names, as the Nation of Islam would say, names, last names that come from a plantation, okay? The plantation owner has my last name is your last name, my last name, plantation, baby, came from the plantation experience. So Europeans came over here, renamed this place for themselves, said that they discovered it when there were already people here. And you know that story. And they stole the resources here because what was the Spaniards looking for, Lion's Den, when they came to America? What were the Spaniards looking for?
The Spaniards looking for, I'm trying to get this right. The Spaniards are looking for
gold.
Gold. I was about to say that.
All right, gold. The Spaniards were looking for gold. All right, once again, another resource trying to steal. Europe has never been able to function on their own without borrowing or stealing from other cultures. Okay? Hell, it was the Moors from North Africa that taught the Europeans navigation. Most people don't even know that the Moors controlled most of Europe for hundreds of years. They controlled what we call Ireland. They control what we call Italy, which is why you have people that are Italian, like the Sicilians, that are very dark, because you had the Moors that intermixed with the women there. So the Moors controlled most of Europe at one point in time. Okay, the Moors are African. The Moors came over with what? Technology. That's why that movie, from a cultural and a technological point of view, is very relevant and powerful, because the Moors came over and literally civilized the Europeans. Okay? The Europeans, when you were in school, everybody listening, the Europeans were in a what? Dark age. They had a dark age in Europe. They call it the Dark Age. Remember when we were in school? And all of a sudden, we went from being in a dark age. They went from being in a dark age into an enlightenment age of what? Renaissance. How did they get their Renaissance? How many of you out there have heard of the Christian Crusades? The Christian Crusades was, that all that knight in shining armor crap. The Christian Crusades was about moving and pushing the Moors out of Europe, trying to fight them off, fight them back, Knights Templar and all that type of stuff. Okay? Okay? And so they were trying to force the Moors out of Europe, destroy them, get them out. And once they were able to defeat the Moors and get them out of Europe, the Europeans got a renaissance because the Moors left them all this technology. They taught them language, writing. They left them with beautiful libraries. They taught them navigation. Europeans didn't even know anything about, they didn't have no, when you look at guys like Balboa. Balboa is the guy that they claim, okay, I say claim, that he discovered planets and all this kind of stuff, right? And he used microscopes and he used all kind of scopes to look into space. Where you think Balboa got all that stuff from? The Moors. The Moors already had telescopes, man. The Moors left all that technology, and that allowed the Europeans to become very sophisticated in their ability to propel their society. Okay? So that's how a lot of this happened. So that movie, Black Panther, with the technology that was displayed in the Black Panther movie, is very relevant, is very powerful, and is more than just the fantasy that you saw in that movie. That fantasy could very well be a reality. And I would say, if you do some research on asteroids and what have you, there are things in the continent of Africa that I'm going to repeat, that are not of this earth. Not of this earth. Okay? And I've said to you, Lions Den, before, I'm just going to keep it real with everybody out there. Quit looking for little green men like E.T. Foam Home to fly from the sky. Here. Black people, African people, Moor people, whatever you want to call yourself. You are the extraterrestrials that you're looking for. And I ain't talking about E.T. Foam Home. I'm talking about metaphysically. I'm talking about mentally, emotionally. We are intellectually. We are the extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial simply means someone of a heightened knowledge, heightened intelligence, high intelligence. We got it. When you go over to Kemet, or what we call Egypt today, Egypt, and you look at the layout of Egypt, Egypt is the most extraterrestrial society ever created. Do you know, folks out there listening, do you know that there is no computer? There is no computer on this God's green earth created by humans that can read and break down the scale and break down the blueprint of a pyramid. They can't do it. There's no computer. The pyramids and how they were designed are completely off the chart. Because like the Dagons, there was an African tribe, I think they're called Lion's Den, the Dagons. They are on a higher plane of thinking, man. They're deep into their pineal gland, the third eye. They built those pyramids on the third eye level of knowledge, on a whole nother plane. Okay? And we can't even get to that level because in American society, we're distracted by television, phones, entertainment, BS, reality TV shows, a bunch of noise. And so all this noise in American society, the cell phones, all the technological pollution that we have in our society, it blocks your pineal gland. It blocks your ability to get in tune with harmony, with your inner self and your ancestors and who you are, unless you come down off of that plane, that noisy plane. And for me, Lion's Den, late at night, 1 and 2 o'clock at night, that's when I feel the most at peace. That's when I feel the most connection to my body, my spirit, everything around me. That's when I get my most inspirational thought because everything is quiet late at night. All that technological pollution is going down. Okay? In the movie, you saw how they took the vibranium and they were able to liquefy it and power it up. Okay? I argue that the Egyptians were doing this type of stuff. There was a brother that I was listening to, and he was saying that if you go to Egypt late at night and you stand and you just listen, if you're in your hotel, if you got a hotel room or you're somewhere close to the pyramids, into the, you can hear a humming sound from the pyramids. This Now some say that's the Dagon energies coming from the pyramids, because the 3 pyramids that were first built in Egypt, particularly in Egypt's in Africa, they are in perfect perpendicular to the 3 stars that are in the skies. Everything about the layout of Egypt is connected to the solar system. It goes in perfect connection to the solar system. So when the planets are moving around, the pyramids, the landscape of Egypt is connected to our solar system, completely in harmony with the way the planet moves around the sun. Complete harmony. There is no other civilization that ever did that, because black people had the technology to create power, to create marvelous structures that had a meaning. Those pyramids were not built just to bury pharaohs, man. They had other responsibilities to them than just the burial of pharaohs. And they damn sure wasn't for food and grain like that dummy, you know who, Uncle Ben's Rice Carson, who said that the pyramids in Egypt were for rice or for grain. What a buffoon he is. But with that said, Lion's Den, keeping with the movie Black Panther, and I said a mouthful, what do you think about what I said about the technology, man? How that is really the power of that movie.
I listen to you, and I agree with what you were saying. That I think we as black people need to really discover the more technology of what we need to know about technology, because it's funny that we as a society, forget about the reality shows and everything else. We definitely need to learn our culture. We definitely need to learn. I mean, what has to have the technology that African people discovered. I mean, we've been discovering this for centuries, and we still basically didn't even know about it. Some of the stuff that you were saying, info, I myself didn't even know about. So, I mean, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, let's look at how the African influence in this African technology. What I'm telling you now is that the movie, it gets into the whole fantasy of flying machines. And yes, we don't have any flying machines, but one can make a educated guess that how do we not know that there could be a hidden society in the continent of Africa, sort of like Wakanda. I'm not necessarily saying they're flying around like in the movie, but how do we not know that there are hidden, actually there are, to be quite honest with you, there are hidden societies in the continent of Africa that no one has ever seen, know nothing about. So a lot of what was in that movie, where you got this secret country that nobody knows about, this secret country within the continent that nobody has ever been to, I argue that there are places in the continent of Africa that nobody's been able to get to, that's deep into the forest of the country. I believe that, because I'll give you a perfect example. You got to get this book, everybody. There's a book by a man by the name of Ivan van Sertima. They came before Columbus. Ivan van Sertima, I love him. I wish he was alive. Ivan van Sertima came out with a book in which he detailed that Africans had the Moors, my God. But he said that during 800 BC, you had Africans traveling over here from Africa into this place we call North America. That once they came over here, I'm going to really blow your wigs off, everybody out there listening. And once they traveled over here, okay, that the native people, the Aztecs, the Incas, those native people that were one with the sun, one with the nature, okay, that the Europeans claimed that they discovered. When they came over here, they thought that black people who were coming from Africa, they thought that they were gods, and they built statues of them. They built those basin heads, those big giant stone basin heads that they found in Mexico, in the Cancun area of Mexico. And one Ivan van Sertima talked about this. He has it documented in his book. They have it, and they have these stone heads in museums. They have it in Mexico. And you can see the negroid features, the lips, the full noses. They were black people. They were ancient black people who traveled over here. And it was documented, and there was some documentation that one of the navigators who allowed Christopher Columbus to get to this place we call America was a Moor navigator himself, a black man. Okay? But prior to Christopher Columbus, you had black people coming to this land. Matter of fact, when Christopher Columbus came over here, it was reported that the native people told him, we've been trading gold and silver with a dark race of people who come from yonder. Okay? So they thought that those Africans that were coming to this place we call North America, they literally thought that they were the extraterrestrials. Because brothers and sisters out there listening, they were the extraterrestrials. They were the travelers bringing over. You got mounds that were built over here in North America. How did those mounds get here? Okay, now, as soon as the Africans started coming over here, all of a sudden, you begin to see pyramids popping up in what we call South America. These pyramids start to pop up. Why? Because there was an exchanging of technology. There was an exchange between the Africans and the native people that were here, a trade in technology. I'm telling you that we built them. That's what I'm telling you, folks. We built that stuff. We built all of that stuff when Europeans were crawling around in the caves of Europe trying to domesticate dogs. Okay? So You have to understand that African people, black people, we're not cave people. We did not live in caves. We did not dwell in caves. So that term caveman does not apply to the melanated people of the earth, the global majority, which is you out there listening. You are the global majority. We are the ones that created and brought civilization to this dusty ass place we call America today. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Okay, I'm surprised that we're not having interference right now here at Lions Den, because you know when we're talking real talk, Facebook wants to get real shady with you. Okay, if we was on here talking about a bunch of nonsense, the latest video game or the latest booty dance, we would get high definition audio right now. Okay.
True. That's true.
When you start talking all this real talk, that's when they want to mess around with the technology on us. By the way, like I said, there would not be any Facebook, YouTube, computers. I wouldn't be able to use my phone to talk to anybody if it was not for the cocaine substance that comes from Africa. Okay? This is the reality. So I digress here. So they found out, Lions Den, that there were Egyptian, what we call Egyptian or Kemetic pottery that they found in some of the Aztec societies and Mayan societies. They found that so even the Egyptians, even the Egyptians have made their way, or the Kemets, they made their way to this land before the Europeans knew anything about it, man. We put our foothold here, already had our foothold here. So what I'm trying to tell you, and everybody listening, is that the Black Panther movie is nothing but a metaphysical reality of what has already been laid down through centuries. And it is that technology that Europeans used to take over the world. Now, I mentioned about the samurai. A lot of people don't realize that the word samurai derives from an African word, and that some of the samurai were black. They were of African ancestry, because there are books out there that you can look it up that talks about the African presence in Japan, the African presence in China. And some of those samurai, some of the first samurai, ancient samurai in Japan, had African blood in them. And that word samurai derives from African language. Look it up for yourself. Get the Stolen Legacies book by Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus. Black people are the true extraterrestrials that you're looking for. We're not coming from outer space. We're coming from inner space. We are technologically savvy. We had the ability, but we have and the only reason why we have lost our way a little bit, because our minds are clouded with all of this buffoonery that we deal with in American society. The buffoonery. And so I thought Black Panther, from a concept of culture, the taking of the flower into his body and energizing him. Remember the scene, Lions Den, when his sister put the suit on him, and she made a suit that every time it's attacked, it absorbs, it charges the energy up. I believe that the Vibranium is the melanin that is in our body as black people, or melanated people. And that suit, the way it charged up with energy, that was the melanin, man. That Vibranium is the melanin metaphor of black people. It is the melanin metaphor.
Okay.
So that energy, remember, melanin takes in positive energies, it takes in negative energies, which is why drugs and alcohol affects black people and native people very badly. Native people, when they drink, it destroys them. Black people, when we use drugs, the cocaine, the crack cocaine, it destroys us, because the molecule that makes up melanin in your body, it bonds with anything negative or positive. And if you bond with something negative, it's going to impact you. Black people, we have hypertension, because when we live in America, we're stressed out. We deal with racism. We deal with prejudice. We deal with being marginalized, underestimated, and undervalued. And that stress affects your melanin in your body, which can come back on you in the form of hypertension. Okay? Look it up, folks. Melanin is everywhere. It is in our eyes, our ears. Why do you think black people, we like a lot of heavy bass in our music? We dance on the low, we dance with a low rhythm to our dance. Movement in our hips. The melanin is in our audio system of our body. It's in our ears, our eyes. They've done tests. I'm saying all this to folks that are listening because I'm trying to say that movie with the technology, it is us, brother. We are the technology. Our walking black bodies is the technology. Okay? I know I'm sounding like a preacher right now, but I don't give a care who thinks that because I'm going to tell truth because this is truth to power.
Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth to power.
Yes, we're speaking truth to power, everybody out there. That's what this is really all about. Truth to power. And with that said, London, we are the walking embodiment of technology. I'm going to tell you like this. Melanin, once again, is in our eyes, is in our ears. They have done studies, ladies and gentlemen, where they have blindfolded children that have dark eyes. Black children that have dark eyes, because the melanin's in that eye. They have blindfolded children who have colored eyes, blue eyes, hazel eyes, and they put them in a maze, lion's den, to see if they could get through the maze blindfolded. They found out that most of the kids who had the darker colored eyes, like black children, were able to get through the maze a lot easier because the eyes, the body, absorbs everything around you. It takes in the energies around you. It connects. Dagon is that tribe that I wanted to say, folks, the Dagons. Okay, it takes in all the energies around you. And the sense, and that energy works in our favor. Why do you think Michael Jordan could fly up in the air and dunk the basketball like he can? Why do you think that most black folks, athletically, I'm going to keep it real, we appear to be very superior when it comes to anything athletically? And I feel that it appears that we may be superior when we, even intellectually, when we put our minds to it. I'm going to tell you why. The black inventors. The stoplight that you look at outside. When you get in your car, you drive your car. It was a black man who created the stoplight. His name was Gary Morgan. He used his dark matter consciousness, his melanin, his empower to create that through his mind. Okay, it's in our body. The power is in our bodies. And he used the African colors to create the colors of the red, the green, the yellow. I wonder how many people out there realize that when you go to a stoplight, a black man created that stoplight and he used African colors to tell your butt when to go and when to stop. Okay? It was a black man who created that metaphor to tell you when you walk across that street and when you keep your butt across that street. Black man created that. Okay? The ice box. Black man created the ice box. The ironing. Do you know the iron was created by black people? Okay? We already know about the hot comb. Okay? So, we already know about the hot comb and all that kind of stuff. Lions, then, you have anything you want to say, brother? Because I got something else explosive to tell you about the melanin. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, what you told us now, you just make me realize it's good to be black, my brother. Seriously, it's good to be black because, again, we have the power and the knowledge to know what to do. Look at these 4 women who discovered NASA. It's a perfect example. Look at everybody has talent. And when we use talent in our brains, anything is possible.
Yes.
When we use talent in our heads.
That's true. Let me just tell you something. The black women, without those black women, NASA would have never got their butts. The Europeans would have never got their dusty butts to the moon. Okay, now let me break it down to you. The astronauts that physically, or that we think physically, because there's a lot of conspiracy theory out there that they never made it to the moon. You know, there's some conspiracy theories. There's talk about, do we know what the dark side of the moon looks like? None of us have ever seen pictures of the dark side of the moon. Ask yourself, why have they never shown us the dark side of the moon? We never see it. It's kind of interesting. That's a side note. But when you go from a metaphysical plane, like the Egyptians and many other African people believe that they could take their body to another plane, to another world, not physically, but spiritually. Now, this is why most of the pyramids that you see in Egypt, they purposely align with the stars, because the pharaohs believed that when they left this earth in the physical body, they could take a trip, like time travel, to another plane, which is to another world. Get out of this thinking, folks, that it's the physical body that goes. No, it's the spiritual body that goes to another plane. That's what the Egyptians or the Kemites believed in, which is why everything in their society was built around the solar system. Okay? Now, let me tell you something that might be explosive for you guys that you may not be able to handle. Everybody out there heard of a black hole, right? When you were taught in school about the Big Bang Theory, they said that it was two stars that collided that created the solar system. Well, that came out of the black hole. Black holes are responsible for creating our universe. Guess what the black hole is made of? Can anybody guess out there listening? What is a black hole produced and made of? What is the substance of a black hole in space? Anybody out there tell me before I tell you? Are you not sure? Anybody out there in the chat room? Do you know?
See.
It's okay, brother.
I'm gonna say it. Now it's copper. If it made out of copper,
no.
The black hole,
no. We know that copper and different minerals are in the earth. Now, if you believe in evolution, if you believe in science or evolution or science, whatever, they tell us in science that one of the reasons why you got all these minerals on this planet is because just like in the Black Panther movie in Wakanda, a meteor hit that part of Africa. Reason why we got all these metals because meteors have been hitting this earth for centuries, Lion's Den. Meteors have been falling out of space, crashing into our atmosphere for thousands of years and have left things. Okay? How the hell you think we get oil and all this other stuff that's in the earth that the Europeans are thirsty to always get in the Middle East, or what we call the Middle East, right? Or the diamonds. How do you think all this stuff is created? You've had asteroid. You've had asteroid. You've had things over centuries before we was even on Earth. Before humans were even crawling walking around or anything, that have been bombarded on this planet over years. If you look at the moon, if you ever notice when you look at the moon, folks, you see craters on the moon. Because even the moon has been bombarded by stuff over centuries, man. We don't even really know, let alone how old our planet is. We don't know how old the universe is. We don't even know what's out there. Okay? If there is something out there, what is it? Okay? I once looked at a program, Lion's Den. This is talking about the technology of what you saw in the Black Panther movie. I once saw a program on YouTube with a white man as old as dust who used to work for NASA. He had top clearance in the government and secret projects that they were doing. And he was being interviewed by, this is a man who had top clearance. He's legitimate. He ain't a kook. He had top clearance, Lion's Den, in the government. he was being interviewed by a woman. He talked about Livermore. In Livermore, California, they do experiments. They got science. They got, they got laboratories over there. He talked about Livermore, man, in California. And he was being interviewed. That white man slipped at the mouth, Lion's Den. Now, maybe he was kooky, but he said that he saw a unidentified object. I'm going to leave it at that.
Wow.
We're not talking about no E.T., foam home, give me some M&Ms. We ain't talking about no green men with 3-4 eyes and some big old heads like you see in the movies. He just simply said, you could tell that he had slipped at the mouth and was telling some top secret stuff that's probably unclassified, okay? And he told this woman interviewing him that he saw some identified object and he saw black people coming out of this object that were 8 foot tall.
Wow.
Truth to power.
Wow.
Truth to power. Wait a minute.
Now, before you think that we're crazy tonight, I'm just simply saying what this man, I'm not saying I believe it or not. I'm simply saying what this man said he saw. And he was a dude that was top clearance in the United States government, laboratories, space travel at NASA, top notch. That's what he said. He said he saw he said out of his mouth, and I'm going to get that footage, Lion's Den, so folks can see it next time or hear it for themselves.
Okay.
He simply said, dark people. That's all I got to say. And with that said, like I said, we don't know how old this world is. We don't know who's been here, what's been here. We don't know what's coming out of our earth, what's in the earth, what's coming out of the earth. We don't know. All you know is what you've been taught since the time you was born. For most of us black folks, we've been taught, go to church, pray, believe in Jesus, believe in the Bible, okay? Go to church, pray, believe in the Bible. Let me say it again. Most of our life as black people, we have been taught in American society, go to church, pray, read the Bible. Why do I keep repeating that same thing? Because that's all we've always been taught. Go to church, pray, believe in a guy named Jesus with blue eyes and blonde hair, when that's not what Jesus looked like. As they said, he had woolly hair. He was dark, bronze-colored skin. Hey, maybe I'm getting a little controversial here, but how do we not know that Jesus, who was a black man, was an extraterrestrial? Because Jesus was not of this world. He was not of this world. He was sent here to this world by God. And what did I say that an extraterrestrial is? An extraterrestrial is simply someone of higher intellect, higher metaphysical intellect that goes beyond the physical body. I'm not talking about no ET stuff. So when you hear me use the term extraterrestrial, get your mind out of these damn movie stuff. I'm talking about the mind. Jesus was a highly intelligent individual. Jesus, he rocked this earth. He had people follow him. He became a threat to the establishment, which was that same threat that we got today, which was what? The Roman Empire was afraid of him because Jesus was too much of an extraterrestrial. Why? Because he was different. That's what an extraterrestrial is. They're different, man.
Right.
He was too different. He was speaking in a way that people could not handle what he was saying, what he was doing. He was on a whole other spiritual plane. And that's what I'm saying, brother, that the Black Panther movie on a technological level was of a whole nother plane. Brother, that's what I'm saying to you. Okay? Now, they threw in all that European crap with the CIA agent. Now, why would you want to? The CIA has been the worst thing that's happened to this world and to black people and this whole universe. Okay? Why would you? I would say to myself, if I was Black Panther, there's no way in hell I'm bringing the CIA back to my country. Okay? So, That metaphysical part of the movie, I enjoyed it. What I did not like, Lion's Den, is, to be honest with you, I really did not like seeing black people fighting black people. Because we fight each other enough in America. I did not really like how they made the American character, Killmonger, how, they made him kind of wretched, right? He was the wretched one. But I was telling you earlier today that I could understand the anger of his character because in a lot of ways, Killmonger represents me, you, every black person out here listening to us on the YouTube or the Facebook or the speaker.com. He really represents us, man. He represents the frustration of black people in America because a lot of us feel that we were abandoned by our African heritage, that they abandoned us, man, just the way he was abandoned by the king, the original king, right? So black people, we're frustrated. Killmonger wanted to do what? He wanted to take the technology, the weapons, and he said, we got agents all over the world. We're ready to take this place over and get back at our oppressors. Now, when he was talking about that, I could dig that, man, because he was talking as an African American, because that's how we feel. So Killmonger, they tried to make him out to be the bad guy, but folks, Killmonger is us. Killmonger is an extraterrestrial. He is the missing piece, just like we are the missing piece. We have been lost in North America for over 400 to 500 years. Most of us, some of us don't even know exactly where we come from. We can guess and say, well, I could be Kenyan. We can guess and say, well, we were brought over here from West Africa. So maybe I'm from Kenya. Maybe I'm from Nigeria, something like that, right? Maybe I'm from Ghana. But we really don't know, Lion's Den, because we are that lost tribe, brother. We are one of the lost tribes. Right. And we were brought here because just in that movie where you had the king, Black Panther, who didn't really seem to give a damn about black people in America in the beginning of the movie, but he started to change his way near the end. In the beginning of the movie, he didn't really care. He only focused on Wakanda, right? Well, that's sort of how the African people, that's sort of how the continent of Africa has treated black folks, that we were brought over here as slaves and they never came back for us. I mean, we had people like Marcus Garvey say go back to Africa. Well, hell, Marcus Garvey himself was lost too because he was in Jamaica. Okay? Right. You've had people, they created Liberia. That's a, American created African country. Black American, but we're lost in North America. And Killmonger represents the frustration of black people in America because we have been oppressed. Africans went through colonialism and black people went through slavery. We went through plantation slavery, shackle slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow laws. We've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? And when you look at that movie it's all about the king, Black Panther, it was the kings and the queens who sold us off into slavery. Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. They sold us into slavery. They sold us into slavery because it was economically beneficial. You had the Arabs that got involved in the slave trade. First, it was the Portuguese who shipped us around the world, which is called what? The triangular slave trade. The triangular slave trade is what fueled the economics and the power of America and all around the world, brought to you by the Portuguese. They first dropped black people off in El Salvador, Brazil. Only 4% of us were dropped off in America. So a lot of black folks in America, we think that we the be-all to end-all of blackness. No, we're not, because the majority of black people that were moved out of the continent of Africa, in the western coastal part of Africa, most of them were brought into South America, which is why you've got 88% black folks in Brazil. Salvador, Brazil is very special because Salvador, Brazil is the gateway in which they brought black people into this part of the world through Salvador, Brazil. And then we would disperse into other parts of South America, such as Colombia, Costa Rica, Colombia, okay? Nicaragua, all these areas in South America have black people. Why do you think them people in South America are so dark? I love watching soccer, Lions Den. Soccer is a great sport to watch because you get to see black people all over the diaspora in soccer, because a lot of these soccer games, you see people from all these other countries, and you'd be like, how'd that black person get there? How'd that black person get there? I didn't know they had black folks in Norway. I didn't know they had black folks in Sweden. I didn't know they had black folks in Costa Rica. I didn't know they had black folks in... Black folks, we're everywhere because we are the extraterrestrials, brother. We are everywhere because we built everything. We gave civilization to this dusty ass world we live in, brother. So that's why we're all over the world. You can't go anywhere without our presence. You even have black people in Mexico. How many of you out there know that the two top generals of Mexico and their revolution were black? Mexico owes their revolutionary win. They owe their independence and their society to two black men that were black and Mexican that were their generals. They have a museum. Dr. Gates did a program that you can find on YouTube called Black People in Mexico, in which he did research. He went into the museums in Mexico, man. They got the pictures of these great black men, man, with their uniforms on, okay? You even had African slaves that were brought to Mexico. Mexico still has the walls like you have in Senegal, the walls of the blood stains in the walls of of our ancestors, man. Mexico, there is a place in Mexico that was settled and created by African people that became their own land, their own city, their own place, and they got statues and plaques to them, man. Black people in Mexico, man. I'm kind of excited here because I'm gonna say it again. Black people, we are the original people. If we would just stop getting involved in foolishness, drugs, alcohol, buffoonery, reality TV show buffoonery, stop worrying about these damn celebrities, these dusty ass celebrities. Stop worrying about this. Okay? We got a dusty ass president called Trump, and we know what he's about. He's cooking and caking for the racism on us. But we got to teach our kids more about their history. And this is Black History Month, right? We got to teach our kids more about their history other than just teaching them about Dr. King. Now, I love Dr. King. He's a member of my frat, 06 to him. Okay, Dr. King's a member of my frat. Dr. King was a great man, did great things. But our history goes beyond just Dr. King. Okay? Our history goes into ancient Kemet, ancient times. We created Timbuktu. Timbuktu has some of the first colleges, man. Some of the first open heart surgeries were done in parts of the continent of Africa by African people when Europeans didn't even know how to season their food, man. Wake up, folks, because this is truth to power for you.
Truth to power.
Wow.
Truth to power.
Now, I've said a mouthful. I've said a mouthful, but Lions Den, I'm gonna take I'm gonna bring it over to you. Now, I made all these statements that I've made because the movie Black Panther inspired me. But like I said earlier, I really wasn't gonna get into the comic book stuff about it. I wanted to get into the concepts of the movie. Although I think, like I said, that the Black Panther character was watered down. They basically made him like they made him like an Obama character, right? You know, he's in the middle. He don't want to be on the left. He don't want to be on the right. But he want to be in the middle. And Killmonger's character, he said, "The hell with that. I don't want to be on no. I don't want to be in no middle. I'm to the left of it. We're gonna get our We're going to revolt here. So Killmonger had that sort of Nat Turner spirit to him, man. Nat Turner, you right? Nat Turner is the brother who did a slave revolt, okay? Rose up against his oppressors. Just the way Killmonger wanted to rise up in that movie. Characterization. Lions Den, anything you want to address about the movie or anything that touches your mind?
Yeah, Info. I mean, what you just said is really powerful. Because I kept thinking about I'm really serious about this because, for example, the Egyptians. You know, we talk about Cleopatra. You know, and I'm going to bring it up. They're bringing Cleopatra, and she's black. Let's just keep straight up. Cleopatra is black, and a lot of people don't know that. But we see Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra. Everybody knows that is not true. Like Cleopatra is really black, and they're just trying to front.
Yes.
But if we use our minds, if we use our brains, we are the original people. We really are, and people just need to get like I agree with you. Get out those social media, get out the reality TV shows, and focus on our ancestors. Focus on where we coming from, where we are. Because again, at the end of the day, we are the original people, like you said. Because again, because without us, there is no America. Without us, there is no Europe. Because I agree, we everywhere. Black people are everywhere.
What I want to say to everybody out there listening, and I want to say what's up to my man Big L. I didn't get a chance to look at the chat room, Big L. I'm sorry. I know you've been writing, brother. Big L, can you tell me if you can hear me? Because I'm kind of speaking without the microphone connected to the... I'm going through the tablet. I'm not doing this on the computer tonight. So I'm kind of speaking outside of a mic to the tablet for some reasons. But can you hear me, Big L? Big L is a brother that's definitely supports me, supports us, Lions Den. He's in the speaker.com world because we're on speaker.com, which is a podcasting service that I'm connected with where we can... communicate with people nationally and internationally. So we do a podcast, and I'm seeing Mrs. Rare Beauty. How you doing out there? Can you guys hear me? He's telling me speak the truth, so I guess they can hear us, Lions Den. I was a little concerned because I didn't take this mic and mic it to that. I got it mic'd to the YouTube because we're on everything tonight. We're on YouTube live. We're on the Facebook Live. We're on Speaker.com Live. And this will be ported over to the iHeartRadio as well podcast. So you can look for that on the Information Man Show on iHeart Podcast if you got iHeart on your radio, your tablet. I want to let everybody know, too, before I go into my further diatribe here, let me hit a commercial by my man Jason Black. Jason Black is a brother who's coming out with a movie called Race War. He's sort of in the same spirit of Tariq. He makes these independent films, which he does with crowdfunding. He did a film called Gentified. He did a film called 7 a.m. Very powerful speaker, very powerful brother. I follow him religiously on the YouTube, and the brother, very controversial. He tells it like it is, and he's coming out with a film. I'm going to play you a clip from this film because it will open up one's mind. Because black folks, I'm speaking to my people out there, we're not just dealing with racism in America. We got something else coming real strong at us, and we better wake ourselves up and use our melanin to be in tune with what's happening around us, to be in tune with the universe. Because just like in the movie Black Panther with the vibranium, let me correct that, vibranium, black folks, the vibranium is inside of us. It's inside of our bodies. It's in our bloodstream. We have it. It's in our ancestors are with us. And with that said, I'm going to play this clip because this is what we need to wake up to.
great things can only come from struggle. There must be pain, there must be strife in order for something beautiful to be produced.
I'm going to stop that right there. That is actually Richard Spencer. He's a racist. He's one of the ones that organized that situation in Charlottesville. And Jason Black of the Black Channel has gotten all these people together to do this movie. And Richard Spencer is being very frank on this part of this. And I'm going to play some of this and go into the other clip.
I care about my people and our future just like you care about your people and your future. I understand where you're coming from, and you need to understand where I'm coming from. It's better to win than it is to be morally right. It is much better to have power and to pursue one's ends. That is the beauty and flourishing of the white race as an end in itself.
People of European descent have been at war with themselves since they lived in the ice. The idea of a race war, it's here.
Non-white people say that white people are conducting a race war against them? This is absurd.
Say again.
The race war against black people has been going on ever since we've been in this country.
It's almost as if law enforcement officers killing black men, unarmed black men, non-aggressive black men who are not threats, is legal at this point.
My position is basically that there is already in place a white supremacist ruling class, that they want to have straight up and clear white supremacist domination.
I think we should have more white privilege. White privilege, no question, exists. I think we should intensify it. We should have more of it.
What we're seeing now with this current administration is just what white folks been thinking all along. They just got somebody in a place of power who will say what they think.
For those that are living that type of life, this is the only path.
If white people continue at their same rate, if they encourage non-white immigration, if they dare not speak out against interracial marriage, then whites will disappear.
It's not a race war that's developing. It's been there. We've just been blind.
The history of the world really is the history of the white race. Who's going to win this race war? We are going to win.
As you can hear near the end, Richard Spencer talks about that the history of the world is really the history of white people. And that's a lie. As I spoke tonight, it is not the history of white people. It is the history of black people. We brought civilization to these dusty individuals like Richard Spencer, okay? We brought the foundation and created the foundation. Matter of fact, this damn country that we're in called America would not be what it is without the slave trade, the trans-American slave trade, triangular slave trade, because we built the foundation in which all other immigrants that come here have benefited from. Hell, just civil rights alone, other groups have come over here and benefited. We laid the foundation. Europeans did not lay the foundation here. They stole, they pillaged. Like I said earlier in other conversations we've had, Lions Den, when you go to school and you look at history, most of the history that kids are taught in school is a history from a Eurocentric point of view, and it's a history about pillaging, killing, and robbing, and what have you. Everything is about killing, robbing, pillaging, robbing. Over and over again. Pillaging, robbing, killing. Okay? Just like black folks, we grew up in America and we're taught read the Bible, go to Sunday school, read the Bible, and believe that Jesus is a blue-eyed, long-haired man when he's not. And that's just the truth. I'm gonna read something in the chat room by James Harris that I didn't get a chance to look at before, and it was about the technology. James Harris, he said the U.S. spreads technology to other countries they favor and support. And those that did not get its start developing their own to spread or threaten more destruction. Well, that's why near the end of the Black Panther movie, I really had a serious issue with Black Panther going before the United Nations, trying to say that we're going to reveal ourselves to the world, we're going to share technology. That's a big mistake. because Europeans have shown throughout history that once you show them your secrets will no longer be your secrets, and they will steal from you and use your technology for destruction. All you have to do is look at your history books. Every civilization of melanated people, when they came in contact with Europeans, okay, they end up with what? They end up with the Bible, and they end up with their world and land stolen. Why do you think in California you had missions? When you think about people that are Mexican, there's always that mission, right? Which became the Catholic Church, became Catholicism, which was just a form of indoctrination. All these religions, whether it be Catholic religion, even the Mormon religion, all they do is they go to underdeveloped countries or poor countries where you have poor people, and they indoctrinate them with their religion to pacify them, to take their land, take that which is theirs. Okay? When you look at a place like Hawaii, the Polynesians, you had the British that came there and then took over. Hell, you can go to Hawaii right now and still see British flags floating around, right? Then America come over there and take it over. So every time cultures come in contact with Europeans, something goes wrong. Let's look at the Chinese. They say that the Chinese created the gunpowder, which they used for celebrations. Soon as they came in contact with Europeans eventually did what? Created the gunpowder into a weapon of mass destruction, right? You don't have a history in which black people go around traveling to other. Now, when the Africans were coming to this world we call America, doing 800 BC and continuing, there is nothing written in the record that the Africans came here and began to take over the cultures here and pillage and rob and steal. There's nothing documented in history of African people taking over nation after nations. Yes, you have tribal warfare. Yes, you have tribal warfare. Okay? Yes, you had tribal warfare. However, African people do not have a history of trying to conquer the whole damn world. Now, you did have Hannibal. Hannibal was a black man who was about to take over China. Nobody could take over China because they had the Great Wall. They've been in many battles. But the only man who actually was about to and could have and almost did, it was Hannibal. And he traveled to China because most people could not conquer China because the terrain was so difficult. He used elephants to get into the terrain. And he almost took over and conquered China. This was a black man. Another extraterrestrial, folks. Should I say more? Should I rest my case? Another black man or woman who thinks outside the box. Now, Lions Den, when I look at the fictional character of Black Panther, I feel that near the end of that movie, what he did was a big mistake, because once he gives the technology to the United States and other European powers, what do you think they're going to use it for, Lions Den? Tell me.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to use it against them. They're going to probably use all these technologies that they reveal against the.
What did you say? Because you cut off. There was some. See, every time we're talking real talk, now all of a sudden Facebook and the technology wants to act funny. Isn't that interesting when we're talking real talk? What were you saying, Lions Den, again? Say it again.
Yeah, I was saying that basically the Europeans going to use their technology against the African people. They're going to attack the African people, destroying their country using the same technology by revealing just the whole world their secrets.
Okay, so with that said, Black Panther, I mean, throughout this whole movie, the Black Panther character kept making mistakes. He should have killed that first guy who had the arm that he could, shoot stuff with his arm. He should have taken him out when he had a chance, but Killmonger took out the first villain in the movie, all right? He makes another mistake when he decides to go to the United Nations and share technology with them. Speak of sharing technology. That's a big mistake because what do Europeans do today? What do the United States do today? The United States goes around the world using their technology. You've got the United States has got their foot all over the Middle East. And my question is, won't they just leave those people alone in the Middle East? Them folks ain't bothering them, okay? But they won't leave them alone because they want what? Just like in the movie, you had Vibranium, oil. They got oil. So the Middle Eastern people are what I would call people of Arab ancestry. They have natural resources, which is the oil. And the European comes over there and takes their natural resource. So Black Panther made a bad decision betting on the United Nations because as soon as he opens up the door to his country, the Americans, the Europeans are going to steal. They're going to use that vibranium. They're going to use it to conquer and pillage and take over the world. It's a no-brainer. That's going to happen. And the reason why we can make that educated guess is because that's what they already do now, Lion's Den. That's already what they do. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Lion's Den?
I totally agree with that. I think what has happened. Okay, I agree with that part. What we're seeing is that it's showing time and time their doors to Europeans. And that's their biggest mistake, like you said, in that movie. And it's really happening today that, every time people open their doors or, negotiate or, open like a kumbaya, bad things always happens. So they take away their resources and use the same resources against them. So I totally agree with you on that, Info.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, Lions Den, for that point you made, brother. I also want to emphasize one of the fictional things in the movie is how Wakanda kept separating themselves. I mean, it's one thing to separate yourself from the rest of the world, because you could tell in that movie the Wakandians, they were kind of arrogant. You could tell they knew that they were better than everybody. They had more technology. They were living better. So they kind of had an arrogance to them. But what was foreign to me in terms of African culture is that African culture is more about I am because we are. We are connected to each other. We're connected to our ancestors. We are connected to the universe around us. We are connected to the universe, the stars, everything, right? Whereas in European culture is about the individual. Be an individual. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about the collective. So I thought that what was wrong about the movie from an African aspect is that they were thinking on an individual Eurocentric type of attitude, which is not African.
Right.
African is about it takes a village to raise a child. It's about the collective whole. So that's where they got it wrong. But of course, it's a Hollywood movie, but that's where they got it wrong. And so, to me, if I was Black Panther, I would focus more on not only my own country, but I would be making alliances with other African countries. I could not sit back and see other brothers and sisters suffering in other parts of Africa while I sort of live to myself. Now, would I give a damn about the rest of the world, such as America or Great Britain or the UK? Hell no, because those countries are already developed. Why would I need to help a country that's already got every damn thing? That's what didn't make any sense about the damn movie, because why would you share your technology with countries that are already developed? You should share your technology with those that are not developed. Not those that are developed. The United States is already in power. The United States doesn't need any vibranium. They already, they already got it with all the other natural resources. Okay? And keep this in mind. When you look at South Africa, there are African countries where black people, African people have died, given their life going into these mines, mining for diamonds, man, so that you can put a funky stone on your woman's finger. I hate diamonds. I don't care about a diamond. Think about it. And see, we as black people in America, we're so culturally conditioned to this type of this Eurocentric way of thinking about marriage because we're willing to go get us a diamond that maybe somebody that looked like us died mining for it. So we could put this stoop on a woman's finger, even put it on our finger, and then we brag about it. And when you see these black athletes and these rappers and these entertainers wearing gold chains around their neck and wearing the diamonds and bragging about it in their ears, they don't even realize that somebody that looked like them probably died for them to be able to wear that. Okay? Another thing, I would never wear a chain. No black man, in my opinion, should wear a chain around his neck. I don't care if it's as gold as... You know why I don't think we should wear chains around our neck, Lions Den? Because that's what they brought us to America in chains. They put chains around our neck. So why would I, as a Asiatic black man, as a black man that I feel that I'm a conscious black man, why would I want to wear a chain around my neck? I don't care if it's a gold chain, and wear it around my neck, a thick chain, and think that that is something special. No. They brought us here in chains. We should not put chains around our necks. It's totally ridiculous, totally backwards thinking and ideology. So, I would say to myself that black people, we could have a Wakanda. We could have a world like that if we would ever learn to work together. If we could ever come together, and everybody says come together, but we really don't come together as much as we should. We come together for foolishness, okay? So keep this in mind too. One of the things that really bothers me, Lions Den, is that I wish that black people would have the same enthusiasm that they have for the Black Panther movie. That I wish they would have the same enthusiasm about supporting other black movies that are made by black directors, especially movies that are independent, okay? Made. Because although there were good aspects about the Black Panther movie and things I did not like, at the end of the day, Disney got rich. The money went to Disney. It did not go in the hands of black people, okay? Black folks, we could have made this movie ourselves because it broke a record in just pre-sales. So if black people got the money to break records to see this movie, we damn sure could have produced the movie our damn selves. Gotta remember, this is a character that was created by Marvel Comics. So you got White Daddy who made this character for us. Keep that in mind. This is not a character that was produced and created by a black mind. This was a character that was conjured up by Marvel Comics. And Marvel Comics is owned by black people. So, in some ways, the movie is a sad commentary on where we are in black America, that we have the money and the will to support this movie before it even comes out. Okay? But we didn't have the will to create our own black character and produce it in our own black movie studios, because black people used to have their own movie studios in this country a long time ago. And one of the movie studios that I remember, it's called Lincoln Movies. It was all black owned. That was back in the day when they didn't allow black folks to be in Hollywood pictures, right? And now black people had to make their own movies. And they also called it race movies too. So, with that said, I know it's getting late, brother. It's about, I know you got to get up early. But I just kind of wanted to, give a critique about this movie. I love Angela Bassett's character. I didn't like the fact that I didn't like my man Forrest Whitaker dying at the end like that, but I liked him.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
But it was for the it was for the movie. One of the things about it, though, that about the battle between him and Killmonger's character is that they used an old story. I mean, you could see the same story in a Greek tragedy movie, a Roman type period movie. This story is not new. There's always been stories about brother against brother, cousin against cousin, you know, that sort of thing. So that's reality. That can happen. But my downfall in the movie is that I just didn't like, because we already have enough violence amongst black folks in America against each other.
Right.
But our violence is no different than white people killing each other, because you got white on white crime too, okay? Keep that in mind. It ain't just black on black crime. You got white on white crime. Everybody statistically preys on each other when they live together in the same community. Chinese commit crime on Chinese, whites on whites, Asians on Asians, Japanese people, Latino people, Native people. They commit crime on each other whenever they live in close proximity to each other. That's just the reality of this world that we live in. But I didn't particularly like seeing black people fighting each other, tribal warfare. It sort of reminded me of the damn Tarzan movies that I don't like. Okay? And Tarzan was a fictional character of a white man portraying himself as being the king of the jungle. And Africa is not a jungle. And a white guy could never be the king of the jungle raised by apes. Makes no sense, okay? But what this movie does psychologically for young black children is that it awakens their mind and empowers them. Just like President Obama being president, it gives good self-esteem to black children to see themselves in a heroic manner. Because for the most part, black children have grown up, just like I have, where only time you see superheroes is that they're always Caucasian, they're always white. Okay? And everybody out there, I want to give a shout out to. Check out the new superhero series on CW channel called Black Lightning. I actually like Black Lightning because Black Lightning in the beginning of the show, he's sort of like the Black Panther character. He's kind of like passive. He doesn't want to get involved. He used to go out there and fight crime, and then he stopped doing it because, his wife didn't really want him going out there because he almost died. And then all of a sudden, he just got sick of being sick and tired, and he now got back into fighting, right? And of course, like most of these shows on TV, you always got to have white daddy guiding him. So he's got the white character in the show who sort of like fixes his suits, and, we just can't have any damn superhero movie without white daddy in it. They just always got to put white daddy in it to say, hey, Negroes, we're going to let you have a superhero, but we're going to have white folks to monitor your superhero ways. So, with that said, to everybody out there that listened tonight, I want to thank everybody out there in Facebook. Do me a favor. Please go to the YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, everybody. I really appreciate it if you could go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. My YouTube channel is very simple. It's Information Man Show. That's it. Information Man Show. It's 3 words. Information Man Show. If you go on YouTube, get your cellular phones, your iPhones, your iPads, your tablets. Simply go on there. Put my name in the search for Information Man Show. I'll come up. You'll see a picture from I think it was Denzel Washington when he played in one of those apocalyptic movies. And you'll see Information Man Show. You'll see my picture. And simply subscribe and hit the bell so that every time we do a YouTube, you'll get a notification that I have a new YouTube video that I've uploaded. So I definitely would appreciate everybody out there listening in YouTube. Go down there and subscribe, folks out there in YouTube. Everybody in Speaker.com that's listening to me out there, because I've got people in Speaker.com that are supporting me, and I really appreciate it. go ahead and look up my YouTube channel. It's in my profile. Click into it and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And tell everybody about it because I really appreciate that. And I have a show page called Information Man Show on Facebook. You can follow me on there. And I have an Instagram. I have a second Instagram page, which is Information Man Show. And you can find me on there. Lions Den, let everybody know about your social media before we end this tonight.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at The Real Lions Den. You can follow me also on Instagram at the_real_lions_den2. You can follow me on Snapchat at lionsden39, and you can follow me on Facebook with my original name, my real name, Thomas Edward White III, and you can follow us on Truth to Power Internet Radio Show fan page as well. And finally, you can follow me on YouTube under Tommy White.
Wonderful, brother. Wonderful. Man, that makes me feel thunderous, brother. Lions Den, before we end tonight, do you have anything else you want to add about this movie? Because I'm trying to think too before we end it if there's anything I left out that I wanted to add. Do you have anything else you want to add about the movie before we end tonight?
There's one thing I want to add on this, because one thing is that, the Black Panther reminded me, remember Muammar Gaddafi, the Libyan leader, the Libyan president Muammar Gaddafi, when you supposed to unite all Africans and then negotiate with the Americans, the West, that he's going to give up their nuclear weapons for them, and what happened there. This goes to show with the movie Black Panther. It raises people's eyes. It raises your eyes. It raises my eyes. It raises all the people of color, their eyes, to see that African people is more powerful than you think we are. And so we need to stay woke. We need to learn our ancestry. We need to learn our heritage so that we can teach our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids one day that this is what our people is all about. And that's what all I can say, Info.
Okay, I agree with everything you would say, but I think we as black people in America, we need to clean ourselves up first. Because
right.
Part of the problem with black people in America is that we're so divided. We've got black people that are conservatives. We got black folks that are liberals. That's our problem. We're too divided by religion. We're too divided by politics. I mean, you got black people that are Christian that don't want to deal with black people that are Muslims, right? Then you got the whole and I give these groups respect. Then you've got the black Israelites who may not agree with the Muslims. So everybody's got their own religious ideology. Everybody's got a political ideology. And as long as we're divided by an ideology that's based in politics and religion, we're always going to be stagnated. Now, one of the themes in the Black Panther movie that was powerful to me is the scene when you had Killmonger's character taking over the kingdom as an outsider, or they saw him as an outsider, but he really came from that place. And the original Black Panther, he left him for dead once he killed his brother, who he felt was betraying him because he was given vibranium to people in America. And he ended up killing his own brother, and he left his brother's son for dead. That was really bad. I thought that was really, really bad because that wasn't very African and to leave one. But then again, guess what? Killmonger is us, Lions Den. He, like I said, he represents African American because we do feel like we were left behind by our African ancestry. We feel that they turned their backs on us by allowing us to be sold into slavery to these grubby Europeans. Okay? So that's some of the things that that we struggle with, brother. We do psychologically, because slavery did a psychological damage to us on that level. But I feel, God, it was something I wanted to say that I lost my train of thought on before we end tonight. But I feel like that's what divides us in this country as black people. Our religion, our politics, and if we can get past that, we could do powerful things. But it holds us back. Another thing that I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying, is that black people, we don't have a code. Anytime we have a black person like a Clarence Thomas, or a black person that sells us out, or a black person that does not do what's in the best interest of the group. Because if you saw in the Black Panther movie, the original Black Panther who killed his brother, his father, there was a punishment. There was a price to pay for betraying Wakanda, for betraying the country, right? And that price ended up being death. He paid a price for taking the Vibranium to this country, right? And so black people, we need to have that same code of ethics, that when someone amongst us betrays us and that they sell out and they want to coon and tom and bootlick, we need to hold them accountable. We cannot allow them back into our community. We cannot allow to support them. You see? So like a Clarence Thomas, we can't allow, like the most recent person, Omarosa. I'm sorry. We cannot allow her back in our community because Omarosa has betrayed us, just as the brother betrayed the original Black Panther in that movie. And I'm not saying that we go out and do harm to anyone. No, that's a movie. I'm saying that once we see that Omarosa has betrayed us, that she was cooning and buck dancing, we should be through with her. We should not allow her any safe haven into the black community. We should not say, okay, we're gonna let you come on back, because we have a habit of letting enemies amongst us, people that look like us, destroy us. That's how they destroyed the Black Panther Party, through COINTELPRO, which is nothing but COINTELPRO.To today, with the black identity extremist BS that the FBI is putting out there. Okay? But they should be looking at white identity extremists who are going around killing people. Okay? And they're doing it. Okay? So we should be having standards. And I think we don't have standards. We got black people that can talk about us like a dog, betray us in our communities, and then we allow them to come back amongst us. I have a serious problem with that. We're not going to. And so, if you saw in the movie Black Panther, they had no tolerance for people that would betray them. Another thing that you saw in the Black Panther movie that was very powerful, it just came to me now, what I wanted to say, is that you saw the scene where his general, the bad sister from Walking Dead, and she is bad and fine. Ain't she fine, Langston? Woo!
Yes, she is. My goodness.
All them sisters that was in that movie, man. All them sisters that was in that movie, that was the soldiers, they was looking good. And I would love to get my hands on them in a private moment, if you know what I mean, privately.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I would love to get my hands on them privately, doors closed.
Yeah.
Woo! The things I would do to the general.
She can salute to me anytime.
Yeah,
straight up.
Say it again. Say it again, Lions. Then I don't think I got you on the recording.
No, I will say she can salute to me anytime, straight up.
What I wanted to do to those fine sister soldiers in that Black Panther movie calls for the doors to be closed and the lights to be turned off.
Oh
boy. But I'm joking. I'm having a little fun tonight, But I'm being serious, folks. We need to have a code. Another thing that I do at work, That's what I wanted to say about that sister. You know, it's the scene where she said, "What do you love? Do you love anything? Because I love my country. I'm willing to do whatever I can for my country." Right? What was powerful about that scene where she said that she was willing to do whatever she had to do for her country was that that's the problem with black folks in America. We should love ourselves so much. We should love our people and our culture that we should never want to sell out ourselves and sell out our culture and sell out our people. We should never want to do that because we should love ourselves more than that. If black people in this country loved themselves more, Malcolm X would be alive today. Those renegade individuals who they said were part of the Nation of Islam, who people said, no, they were agents. Okay, the FBI sending agents, right, to do harm to Malcolm X, all right? If black people loved themselves and loved our culture, those brothers would have never done what they did, right? If we loved our culture, we would never see black people infiltrate the Black Panther Party, right, and be used as agents by the FBI. You would never have black people that would join the FBI and spy on black people and give intel to these agents, to these organizations that mean us no good but harm. See what I'm saying? In the movie, no matter, even though she didn't like Killmonger being the king, she was still willing to.
She was loyal to her country.
Loyal to the throne. She said, I'm loyal to that throne. I'm loyal to my country. How many black people in America are loyal to black people, loyal to our culture? How many of us? I argue that many of us are not. And which is why we're divided by religion, divided by politics, and we can't get anything done because you got conservative Negroes who want to get along to go along to get along, and then you got Negroes like Killmonger that are saying, I want a revolution. And then you got Negroes that are going to say, well, I don't want to get revolutionary. Let's try to work with white daddy. I disagree. We got to come together, work together. This is not about trying to harm anybody. This is just about us empowering ourselves to just be the best that we can, just like in the Black Panther movie. Those people were proud of themselves. They empowered themselves. They created great civilization. Black people, we could do the same thing if we would just stop being buck dancing and bootlicking and Uncle Tomming ourselves around like the Ben Carsons and the Uncle Ben that's on the Supreme Court, you know who I'm talking about. We gotta stop.
Clarence Thomas,
we would be better off as a people. That's what I'm saying. And one of the things that Killmonger learned because he was from America, which is Killmonger also had some of that conditioning in him. He was culturally conditioned from living in American society. Because remember the scene where he burned all the plants, saying, no, there ain't going to be no Black Panther.
Yeah.
I'm only going to be the only one that's going to be Black Panther. You know what that is? That's Eurocentric thinking. That's thinking as an individual. That's not thinking about the future. That is not African. African is to think about future. African is to think about the collective whole. So today I'm Black Panther. Tomorrow today I'm Black Panther, and someday I will be dead. And there has to be another Black Panther after me, which will either be my son or my son's sons, right? But Killmonger, because he had that cultural conditioning, and he was from America, like most of us have in America, we have that cultural conditioning to think Eurocentric, think about the individual. What did Killmonger say? He said, burn everything down. Because he had that. And guess what? In the movie, they said that he was taught that because he was part of the CIA, and that's what they teach you in the CIA, to destroy any trace of anything. That's cultural conditioning in American society. Brought to you by Red, White, and Blue Flag. Brought to you by Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola. Okay? Okay? Now, I want to say, everybody listening in YouTube, again, definitely subscribe. Everybody on Facebook live listening, definitely go to the YouTube channel, Information Man Show, and subscribe. I want to thank everybody for listening, for being up late this Saturday evening or night, wherever you are in the world, morning, day. Thank you. I want to say, Lions Den, you got want to say anything before we end? I'm going to be ending.
Yeah, I'd like to tell the whole world, thank you guys for checking out our show, our special program tonight. And for those that didn't see the movie Black Panther, go out and see it. It'll change your life forever. And with that being said, we're out.
Yes. Go out and see the movie. You're going to, like I said, you're going to like some things about it, some things you're not going to like about it. You know, like I said before, you didn't see Black Panther in this Black Panther movie. You didn't see Black Panther kill any white people. He only killed and fought against black people. So that was kind of interesting, kind of twist there, how they did that, you know. It is written by Marvel Comics, okay? It's not owned by black people. So everybody out there listening, thank you. I'm going to hit I'm feeling thunderous. And I'm going to hit our music. And I'm going to say, Lions Den, it's been great, brother. It's been great, everybody out there. And with that said, here it comes.
Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking the truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking the truth to Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking the truth to power. Truth. Myself. Information man. And lions. Welcome. The truth to power.
This is Information Man and Lions Den. Welcome.